string, F string again, F means format, right? If you're going to do print, and I want to print, say a particular string, and in this case, I'll say the total is, let me comment this one out. The total is, and then I can go ahead and put that value in there. If I want the F string, I have to start with an F in the front. And I believe I should use one quote.
Yeah, both actually work.
Okay, and one here total. Cannot spell. So what it does there is it's going to add total in there wherever it sees that value. Oops, obviously I did not. Even worse.
You're missing the apostrophe at the end of the total after the curly bracket.
Yep, right there. Awesome. So yes, now this is going to work. I personally don't like that. This is known as interpolation. So interpolation is a way that you can add content in there. So using this curly braces, it tells you that, hey, just grab that and interpolate it in there, you know. But that's how you go ahead and do the F string. So I can also go ahead and say, rather than doing the total, I could say the mangoes are, or let's say the mango is, and then I can go ahead and put in mango. Remember we defined mango earlier. If I print that out, it gives me the total and the mango. I can do that for all of these variables that we've looked at before. Okay. So the same with cost. I can pull the cost, new cost, and so on. All I have to do is just put in the variable in quotes, and I should be good. Maybe I should change the definition so it's correct. The cost is 1,000. If I need a newer cost, go ahead and do newer cost as well, and so on.
So at one time, does it forget that, you know, you stored something in that memory? We have been storing so many things.
I know, right? I know. Remember that first day we talked about, you know, the primary memory and the secondary memory. The primary memory, once you turn off your computer or you shut down that program, it forgets everything. But the one that's going to be remembered is what's in the hard drive, which is the secondary memory. That's why if you're typing a Word document and your computer goes off, everything that you typed was going to the primary memory and it wipes away when there's no power. Except you save it. When you save it, you're now moving it to the hard drive, the secondary memory. So if we have not saved this, then every time it gets shut down, we're going to lose that. But once we start running the application again, it cleans out the memory and starts with a new memory. But as long as this is still running, it's going to remember that value.
Nice.
So now you're all thinking like you're inside that computer. I like that. That's excellent. Nigel, question.
Is there anything you can do for your system to instead of having the temporary memory and that's to make it permanent, right? So that way, let's say all these codes you put in there right now, if you turn it off, right? If for some reason your computer goes off, when you turn it back on, you'll start from scratch, right? Now, my question is there a way where should anything happen, you turn it off, next time you come back, you will remember all the inputs that you put?
Yes, definitely there's a way. So right now what I need to do is just go ahead and rename this notebook to something better. Let's say day 2. I've renamed it. Now it says day 2. I save it. Everything is going to be in there. If I close it and we open day 2, it has everything that we had before. So now I've saved it in the secondary memory, in the hard drive of the cloud, not on my hard drive. If I want it on my hard drive, then I'll have to come in and download it. If I want to share it, then I'll have to go in and do file, save as, where is it? Never mind. Export. If I want to send it as a PDF or an HTML document, I can go ahead and do that. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So for a system like, OneNote, it doesn't have a save button. When you write on it, it saves like right away. It persists, right? Is it just a script running in the backend with Command S or Control S, like keep refreshing?
Yes, definitely, because Control S is also doing input. You can set it up so that the input is automatic, and then you just go ahead to your preferences and say, after every 5 minutes, save it. After every 10 minutes, save it.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what autosave is about. Way back when computers just started, you know, that was not something that was possible because there was no JavaScript that was creating that well before. But with JavaScript now, you can set up asynchronous JavaScript to be running and say, hey, we save this every 5-10 minutes or whatever. So that definitely helps us out a lot, not to be losing a lot of information.
Which is the beauty of automation, you know, trying to solve the problem of things you do frequently and just outsource that to something.
Exactly. Very good, very good. So we have 5 more minutes. Let's see if I can jump in and get this last part taken care of in the next 5 minutes. We don't have much else. I didn't realize we're going to be having so much fun. I knew we're going to have fun, but not this much. All right, so everything looks good, but everything is boring. As much as it's fun, it's boring. We need to make it dynamic. We need to have users to input stuff and play around with our code, right? So what do? We've talked about print. We've talked about type. The third function I want to introduce to you guys is the input function. Okay, when you type input function, you're asking the user to enter something. Whatever you enter in this case is going to be saved in this variable. Remember we talked about variable. So we are going to say, hey, save a space for me in memory. I want the user to enter something, whatever they enter, go save it in that place in memory. So they enter stuff, they type in some silly stuff that gets saved in the input, INP. When you go ahead and print INP, you get exactly what they would. But it is better for you to give a prompt. A prompt, again, is some kind of question that you're asking the user, whatever you're directing the user, prompting them, like enter your name or enter your age or enter your date of birth. Whatever they enter, in this case, you're asking for a name. That name gets entered and gets saved in this variable called name. They have entered their name Chuck. Now you print the name, it prints out Chuck. So now our program is becoming more interactive. Okay. But remember that everything that you get from the user is saved as a string. So if we ask them, for instance, in this case, what is the speed of a swallow that's not carrying anything? Then we go ahead and ask them, they input that speed. We need to be able to convert that speed, which the speed is the input of whatever they entered, to an integer. When we convert it to an integer, now we can go ahead and use it in our calculation. So whatever you always get from the user is going to be a string. Now you need to use that casting to convert it to an integer. Does that make sense, everyone?
So that conversion is, again, depending on what you're asking for from the end user, right? Okay.
Exactly. So let's try an example, given what we're just looking at, right? So we were asking them to enter, or we have a tax and we have a price. Let's go ahead and change this. We said at this point, the price is 100. Let's go ahead and ask for the user to enter the price. Ask user to enter price. So ask the user to enter the price, we're going to say price is equal to, we use that input function. If we use that input function, it's just going to prompt without telling you anything. So now our price is not going to be 100 again. So remember this value. Let's go ahead and press play. It just asks us without prompting. So let me go ahead and enter 10. I type in 10, I continue playing. Oops. I press enter. Now it gives me an error. Because 10 is a string. It cannot multiply a non-integer type with a float. So I have to go ahead and update my code to say all of these should be an integer. So that way I can cast that integer. Does that make sense? So now you're having a nested loop. I think, everyone, you said something.
No, it does.
Okay, so we can do it that way, or otherwise we'll have to go in and cast each one of these prices. Because each time our price is going to be a string. But we don't want it to be a string, so what we need to do is two things. We need to, oopsie, that's not what I wanted. We need to convert that to an integer, and it's always a good idea to enter a prompt. So let's go ahead and say enter your price. Now when that comes up, we're going to know exactly what we are entering. Okay, that's what you want your users to have an idea. If I press play, it's asking enter your price because I have that in there. Now my price is 200. Enter. Tax is $6. And the new cost here, we're just printing that out. Does this help? Does this make sense?
Yeah. Maybe it's better to have the data type as float for price.
Excellent, even better. So have it as float for price. We can go ahead and try. Maybe I can ask you, during your free time to try to get the information for tax. Let's go ahead and say tax string. I can spell correctly. Enter tax. Now we're going to count them for tax. Tax should be equal to float. And within that float, we want to get the input. And the prompt we're going to use is tax string. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Maybe not states. Let's try sales tax. So sales tax, this value is going to go in here, which is pretty much this string. So your sales tax is going to be prompted. And then now we can go ahead and multiply this float and that float. We could do the same thing here, convert that to also a float. You can even go ahead and change this to have dollar value at the front. And then let's say this is your tax. And put the dollar value in front as well. We execute that. It's asking for the price. Let's go back to our old price of 100 on the tax of 0.03. And now it tells us your price is 100, your sales tax is 0.3, total tax is that, and the tax is that. So that would be a simple calculation of how you want to do it. If you want to set up, instead of doing tax, you want to change that to tips, you can go ahead and change it to tips. That's totally fine. And let's go ahead and say tips. So you can know how much you're tipping the guys that are going to be working or serving you your food, even if it's soya or if it's achu, and to make sure you also tip them. So my price here is 200. The tip is, sorry, I still have enter sales tax instead of tip. Let's make that 10%. Now, if it's 10% tip for a $200 meal, you should give them $220. I need to change this.
This is very interesting. I guess maybe during the week I will try to see, okay, if I am in Maryland, how much is the tax there or the tips there? Like that's where you might start, I don't know, is it curl? Like scraping different tax, sales tax in different states and bringing your code. So if someone were to be in Texas, this is how much they might pay for taxes.
Exactly, and you can create a fun application, put it out there. Everybody can just open your app and tap it and tell you what the tax is.
Yeah.
So that's the power of Python. When we say Python is powerful and fun, I was going to start by showing you guys a bunch of scripts that would be, it's simple to read. If you go in here, we're definitely 5 minutes over time. But let me make sure I go through this real quick before I share that with you. Exactly. But that's how you will get user input. So at the end of the day, what we wanted to capture today, we talked about values and data types. We talked about working with variables, how we use statements and comments, expression and operators, getting user input. And all along, we have been trying to debug the errors that we have. Debugging will take a lot of your time. It's something that you have to be patient. That's why I tell you, take your breaks. If you find yourself banging your head on the wall, walk away, come back, and you'd see that, you have your aha moments and everything will be fine. But is there anything in here that we feel like we are not 100% confident or maybe 80, 90%? Everybody good so far?